Okay, so what we're going to do is swap the background of an image for another image. So I'm going to do this with a lighthouse. So I've got my lighthouse picture right here. I'm going to go ahead and drag that into Photoshop to bring it up. Drag this out a little bit. So here's my lighthouse. Now I want to switch that blue sky for a starry night sky. So I'm going to jump on the internet and I'm going to Google some stars. Bring up my images and look at these. Now I like this one right here, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. Now if I click View Image, it will give me a bigger version that's higher quality, so I want to go ahead and do that. Now to bring this into my lighthouse, I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop it right on top of my lighthouse, and there it is. Now to change the size of it, I'm going to go ahead and do Command T. This is going to give me brackets around it. So I'm going to drag it down a little bit so it's covering a lot of it. Then I'm going to hold down Shift and pull this down more to keep it proportional. Once I've got it situated where I like it, I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark. Now my stars are covering my picture, and in order to move them down a layer, I need to unlock my background layer. So over here on the Layers palette, I'm going to double click on my background. Once I do that, I'll hit OK, and now it is unlocked, and I can drag it to the top. So once that's dragged to the top, the next step is to select what I would like to keep in the picture. So what I'll use is my quick selection tool, which is right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 tools down. If you don't see the quick selection right away, hold down on the drop down menu. Quick selection is the first option. Now my quick selection tool looks like a paintbrush and it acts just like one. It's going to paint a selection over what I'm drawing over. So here's my lighthouse. I'm going to start dragging over. What it's doing is it's slowly grabbing all the pixels that I'm dragging my little plus over. Jump up to the top, and I'm going to come down and start selecting these. Now as I'm selecting, I can let go of my mouse, and then I can keep going and it will add it. I'll keep going. And you're going to keep drawing over all of this till you have it all selected. Now, sometimes you may select things that you did not want selected. For example, I'm going to zoom in up here to the top of my lighthouse. I've got some of that blue sky that I don't want. So to get rid of that, I'm going to make my brush size smaller by using my bracket keys next to the P on my keyboard. So I'm going to make it small. Now what I can do is hold down the Option key, and the Option key will automatically turn that plus inside of my circle right here to a minus. Now while holding Option, I'll go over those spots that I don't want selected, and they are immediately gone. Now while I'm in here, I'm going to take that plus and kind of add in a few things that I missed. Now this selection doesn't have to be perfect. You can see right here I missed that whole window because we're going to go in and refine the edges. So I'm just going to run down. It's a great practice to kind of zoom in and check it out because you'll miss things when it's zoomed out. So we'll go like that. And it looks like I have most of what I want. So great, I'm going to zoom back out. So once I've got my selection, I'm going to go up here where it says Refine Edge. Click on that and I've got my Refine Edge box that will pop up. Now the first thing I can do is use what's called my Refine Radius tool, which is right here. It's automatically selected when I open Refine Edge, so I'll get that. Now my brush is kind of big. I'll make it smaller with my brackets and kind of go over some of these edges. They still have some blue. Now this isn't going to bring in anything that you may have missed. It's just going to kind of blur out what might be a really hard edge. Kind of like this water down here. So I'm just going to go over it to make it a little bit smoother. So I'm just going over some of these edges to make it smoother, and that looks great. Now the next thing I'm going to change are a few options on here. I'm going to increase my radius to 0.7. After that, I'm going to change the smooth to 5, my feather to 0.7, and my contrast to 5%. Now the next step is the most important one. Down here in my output section, I need to select Output to Layer Mask. This is where the mask comes into play. So I'll click Layer Mask, and once I'm finished with that, I will hit OK. And now I've got a starry night sky behind my lighthouse.